As we continue on our review for the final exam, we're going to start question 41 in just a moment, but looking at our overview, we see we've done all of these and have them right. And we're going to be doing 41, which I can just check right there. Okay. So we're still in chapter 2, actually, doing some word problems. So let's work on this. This is a high-speed boat. Operates between city A and B. It can make this many-mile trip in 2.5 hours. Find the speed of this trip. Again, you may have to read this more than once, but we'll take a look at it. And what you need to decide is, what is your formula? Well, distance equals rate times time. And they're asking us for the speed, which is the rate. Now we know the distance. We don't know the rate, but the speed is, and we can change 2.5 to 2.5 for easier calculation. So we're going to divide both sides by 2.5. And we get R. I guess I could put it there. Let me use my calculator. So I got 60.8. But here's where you need to be careful. They're asking you to type an integer or a decimal. So they are allowing you to use a decimal in your answer. So we're going to type in 60.8. And they should accept that. All right, good. All right, let's look at these. And we want a strategy. The number 23.1 is, we said just put it into an equation, equal for is, what percent of, we said of is multiplication, 77. So we've just taken this statement and made an equation of it. Well, we want to solve for P. So we're going to divide both sides by 77. And again, we're going to use the calculator. So it's 23.1 divided by 77, and I get 0.3. And they're saying round to the nearest whole number if necessary. Well, this is a nice whole number here in a while. Once we convert it to percent by moving our decimal place to the right and add a percent sign. Now the percent sign is already there, so what number do we put in there? Do we put the 0.3 or the 30? Well, I would venture to say it's the 30. And let's check it. Yep. Okay. A used automobile dealership recently reduced the price of a used compact car by 10%. If the price of the car before the discount was this, find the discount and the new price. That was cut off a little bit. So, again, you could use a formula, but we could also use arithmetic for this. So we're going to say 10% of this original price is going to equal the discount, or something like that. So you can put that in your calculator, or actually you can just move the decimal place. 18600 times 0.1, and that would be that. So the discount in the price is going to be this, 1860. Again, we're just moving that over one decimal place. All right, let's do that. $1,860. We got that part right. Now, the new price of the car, again, we could make an equation for that, or we could just use arithmetic. Let's just use arithmetic here. That was our original price. We're going to subtract this from it now. And that will be our answer. So this I get 16740. Again, write this out, double check your work. You have 2 hours to take your exam. Every question is worth 4 points. Some will be easier than others, and you want to get the most points you can. Okay, here's a little mixture problem. A coffee company wants a new flavor of Cajun coffee. How many pounds of $7 a pound coffee? We're going to call that N or X, whatever letter. So, how many pounds of 7-pound coffee should be added to 20 pounds that cost $2. In fact, let me write that a little differently here. The price of this new coffee is $2, and we have 20 pounds of that. To make a blend that is going to be $5 a pound, and how much coffee will we end up with? Well, we're going to have our N that we don't know plus the 20 that we do know. And this is the typical formula for this type of problem. So this is 7N plus 40 equals 5N plus 100. I'm going to subtract my 5N from both sides. I get 2N. Subtract 40 from both sides. I get 60. Divide both sides by 2. I get N equals 30. So, how many pounds? 30. And that wasn't too hard a one. It was more the typical type, as long as you're familiar with that formula. Now, this is a tricky one, and lots of students mess up on this because, you know, maybe you haven't practiced it and you don't know what to put in. So here they're saying that if the number of coins or bills is X, what's the value of the coins in the bills? Well, what's a penny worth? And it's 1/100th of a dollar, because they're asking in dollars. So they're giving you a model of what to do. So how would you write if you had this number of bills and each bill is worth $10? Well, it would just be 10. And then do they want us to simplify or not? We get a phone call in our office once in a while. It's from my wife. So the question was, do we simplify this? That would be 100x. Or do we leave it in this form? Well, I put that in there, and they did count that correct. I already checked it, so we could see. All right, let's go on to the next question. Again, this was the last section of Chapter 2. We're looking at graph the set of numbers given in the interval notation. So, some background. Now, what does this mean when it's parenthesis from this? Well, this means this is from negative infinity going up to a -8. But then, since there's a parenthesis on this side, the -8 is not included. It stops just before -8. So, as we look at C here, this is from negative infinity and going up just before -8. And so I believe it's letter C. Let's check it out. And we're good on that. Now, write the inequality statement for X, describing the numbers graphed. All right, let's think of that for a moment. Now, we're going to have X, right? This is our X right here. Now, is X greater or less? Well, it's going this way, so it's going to be less than. Now, is 8 included? No, so we don't put a line here to indicate an equal, just this. And it's -8. So X is less than, got carried away there a little bit, -8. So for over here, we're going to say X is less than -8. And just that. Okay? So I noticed when I checked your test on Chapter 2, a number of people were messing up on this. So this might be an area where you would go back and review your notes and the lesson to work on this if this is a weak area. Now here they're asking us to solve this, so let's do that. Let's write it up here. Now here's a particularly good case where we wouldn't use transposition. We would use the old-fashioned method. We want to isolate the X here in the middle. So we're going to add 9 there, add 9 there, and add 9 there. How about just a 9 there? Yes. So this becomes a 12 is less than or equal to 3x is less than or equal to 18. Now again, we want to isolate the x. So we're going to divide by the numerical coefficient of x, which is a 3. but we do that to each part. So now this becomes a 4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 6. Now, all of these, well, these two are the correct answers. These are not correct. And which one is it? Well, since it's an equal as well, these numbers are included, so we need the brackets. So this is our answer right here, A. And we did that. Now, we want to write this in interval notation. Now, right from the correct graph, it's a bracket, 4, comma, 6, bracket. That's interval notation, right from the graph. So, we'll put that in there. Bracket. Now on this one, again, all of these word problems you're going to have to read carefully. A 150-pound person uses this many calories per minute when walking at this speed. Well, how long must a person walk at this speed to use this many calories? So all you're going to do here is say, well, it's going to be 220. That's the total number of calories you will lose. And you're losing this much. So you're dividing this, 5.6. And this comes out to 39.28. And then you have to read it carefully. It says round up to the nearest minute. So we're rounding up to the nearest minute is 40. And again, some of these, some will do it more quickly, some will take more time, but they are, of course, a challenge. All right, let's go on. We're now into chapter 3. And again, we can make this bigger. And if we make it bigger, we can't see it, so we have to read it first. The following line graph shows the attendance at the annual event from this year through this year. Estimate the attendance for the annual event in 2000. Okay, so now we can make it bigger. 2000. So we go to the year 2000, which is sort of on this dot here, right there. We go over to there. So this is 60,000, 70,000. Again, these are a little tricky because is that dot on the line or is it just below? I think it's just below. Would you go to 64,000? That's what I would go for. I don't know if I'm right or not. They're going to tell me here. I was right. Okay. All right. Next question. Plot this pair. State the quadrant. Well, 1, 3. I'm going to move it over 1, up 3, right there. And it's the first quadrant. All right. The table shows the worldwide box office in billions of dollars for the movie industry during the years shown. So here they want us to write them in a set of ordered pairs. So in your ordered pair, you're going to use this tool, and for the first row it's going to be 1, 9, 9, 8. The comma's already in there. And then we put 16.1. And I guess they're going to ask us to do that for each one of these. So we will just continue. And we want to continue without looking at that. Okay. Now here they're asked to determine whether an ordered pair 0, 0 is a solution for this. Well, if x is 0 and this fraction multiplied by 0 is 0, that is correct. So we're just checking this out now, putting that in there. And we're going to say yes. How about this one? Now for this one, we have to, something's going on there. I'm hearing all kinds of music back there. So for the next part, we're substituting a -6 where the x is, and a 7 where the y is. Notice these cancel out. So we have -6 equals -6. So for this one, it would be yes. And now they want us to fill this in, and I'll do it and then show you the strategy. So I've made our own T-chart here, and this is what it looks like. So if x is 0, y is 0. So we're going to put a 0 there. And if x is 2, this is going to be -7 times 2, -14. Now here, if y is a -2, we have to write the equation out, solve for x. So we're going to divide both sides by a -7. So we get x equals a positive 2/7. And let's check our answers. So when I put the answers in, they worked out. Now here's a graph to the right, shows stores of a certain department store for each year. Use the graph to estimate the increase in stores for the years 3, 4, and 6. Now let's see if we can make that a little bigger here. Maybe not here. Okay. Well, again, you're going to look at the year 3 from here. So I guess it's from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. And it's, I think, 3 to 4. So this is year 3. You'd have to make it big and figure out how many are over here and then go up. And this one's on the line, so that's good. That looks like 13,000. And here this is, or 1,300 I should say. This is 1,200. So this is 1,250. So I'm going to study that and making it. Well, when I looked at this, I thought this was like, maybe this is the 1,250 here. So this could have been like 1,225 or 1,220. and this is definitely 1300. So that would be the 75 or 80, and they're saying the store is 30. So I don't get that one. I think they made an error on this one, and these are very difficult with these big dots. You don't know where they are. So anyway, I would give you partial credit or full credit if you had 75 or 80 for that one. All right, well, let's go on because we can't see that one very well. We want to review the kinds of things that you have. Okay, determine if the given equation is linear equation in two variables. Well, as long as the letters are just to the first degree, which these are, this is linear. All right, use the following equation to find three ordered pairs. Well, if x is 0, y is 0. If x is a negative 1, y will be 8. And if this is a positive 1, this will be a negative 8. Okay, there are 3 points. Now we need to graph it. So click to enlarge the graph. I need to get my points here. So we're going to put a point at 0, 0, one of the points, and then at negative 1, 8. We only need 2, so let's check our work. All right, good. And here, we'll have to read this and then come up with something. So here what they're asking is that this is your basic equation for the number of joggers from the year 2000. So in a sense, 2000 is the 0 for your time. And then they want you to use this equation to complete this ordered pair, which I've done in this T-chart. So if x is 1 in this equation, what will it be? What will y be? Well, 1 plus 13 is 14. Now, in the year 2017, if this is 0, then this is 17. Putting that in there, we get this. So what is this saying? Well, as your years increase, you're going to add this amount to the years. So this is what the equation means in letter A here. So that 1 year later, there will be this many. All right, so let's do some completion here. This is going to be 14. Now complete the sentence. In the year 2001, there were 14 million joggers. That's what they're saying. And then in 2017, there will be 30 million. Okay. Now in this next one, they're asking us to identify the intercepts. Well, here are 2 x-intercepts and 2 y-intercepts. So they're just saying separate them by commas. So we'll use this tool And this one will be negative 2, 0. Negative 2, 0. Comma. Use that tool again. In fact, I'll pause. So looking at these, we have this is a x-intercept. This is the other x-intercept. This is a y-intercept, and this is a y-intercept. Let's check our answers here.